Hello, comrades in Cadre. I am here with a guest that needs very little introduction, but I am here with my good friend Jason Unruhe, and I'll allow him to introduce himself for those very few people who haven't ever watched his videos.
I'm Jason Unruhe. I'm a guy that exists on the internet.
Nice. But so I guess we can keep this going, and I guess we'll just head on to the first question, which is, how did you become a leftist?
Well, I actually had started off as a rightist in high school. And then when I left high school and real life started kicking my ass, I was like, yeah, this rightist ideology isn't correct. And then it was a slow transformation from one end to the other. Okay. This is not like I was told it was going to be.
You mean like rightist, like Deng Xiaoping or Zhu Enlai, or do you mean
No,
like
like
right wing?
like right wing.
Yeah, I don't think anybody becomes like a Deng Xiaoping supporter in high school, like in the especially in like the early 2000s.
Mm, the 90s.
You went to high school in the 90s.
Yeah, I was in high school when Columbine happened.
Damn, fuck. But so how did you come to being a Maoist, and why are you a Maoist third worldist?
Well, originally I became a Marxist because I had a job. I've told this story before. I had a job at a furniture store, and so one of the displays contains a couple books to make it, so you see what it looks like when it's filled up.
Yeah.
And the Communist Manifesto was in there, and I read it, and I was like, oh, this actually kind of makes sense. And then I read a little more, and I don't know what that was.
No. I just found a trick so that if I need to drink, I can just open this desk so it'll block my face off.
Oh,
No, I just figured out a trick.
okay.
Just now.
And
No.
then I actually went straight from Marx into Mao.
Mm.
And then I was like, oh, this is resonating with me. And then I actually went backwards to Lenin.
I remember this was in a discussion about like polling cash. Not gonna go into the specific details, but you said that like you regretted starting with Mao was not necessarily the best thing to do.
No, it's not. That just happened to be my actual journey. It would have been better if I had understood that Marx, because this was before the internet had really taken off yet. So it's not like the wealth of information you have available today. I mean, we're talking the age of still, there was still dial-up internet for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, like, I didn't fully grasp, like, Marx's concepts until I actually read Engels, who put it in more plain language. Because sometimes Marx writes in a way that I can only describe as German bullshit.
Yeah, see, the thing is, he writes in dialectics. He contains itself and its opposite in the same sentence. That was a way that the intellectuals wrote back then. And if you wanted to be taken seriously, you had to write that way.
Yeah.
And it was like, dumb.
Because the writing opposites in the same sentence is like not a great way to describe how dialectics works.
No, but that's the way people did it, and it was stupid, but you had to do it in order to be taken seriously.
Yeah, like just like intelligentsia type bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So how did you because you became a Marxist, but how did you start to become a Maoist, like, and a Maoist third worldist, like in the actual sense of it, not like Mao Zedong thought, like?
Well, I had noticed that the world wasn't anymore the way that Lenin described. Like, and I figured, okay, times change. It's perfectly understandable that somebody would try to update. And I said, okay, well, yeah, there is no industrial working class in China. And then I read some Black Panthers, and it's like, okay, well, there's a unique context to the United States. So then I thought, okay, yeah, this is probably the way to go. Then I became a third worldist after I had met. I had always been very frustrated by the way first worldists act, and the fact that essentially they've been saying, "Oh, we're going to do revolution in the United States," and they've been saying that for like literally 100 years, and it never even comes close. And then it became the question as to why. Why does it never work, or why does it never take off? And then I met a guy from the LLCO, and we started talking. I was like, and I started listening, and then did a little back and forth with him, and it was like, okay, this actually does kind of make sense. And then I researched it, and then it was like, all right, there you go.
Yeah. And yeah, like, I do think that there is a lot of so-called ML parties that exist that are kind of just spicy trots, like, generally, or like act that way, because of constantly advocating for revolution but never actually progressing to any stage that's even building dual power most of the time.
And sometimes it didn't even make any sense. Like there was somebody in the Communist Party of Canada that I met, and they said, "Oh, yeah, I'm in that party. I consider myself a hojist because I'm anti-revisionist." Like, but your party is Eurocom.
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
Unless you're doing infiltration, like that's
No,
the only thing.
no, he wasn't. He wasn't doing infiltration.
Because that's generally what you do. Like you either work with a smaller party or you work with a group of individuals who you want to like bolster the numbers of.
No, he was in the Communist Party of Canada.
Yeah, and he wasn't like trying to do anything like majorly to shake the boat.
No.
What the why? Like that's just wasting time, and that explains a lot. They're just wasting time.
Yeah, but it's Eurocommunism, and as Ho just said, Eurocommunism is anti-communism, and like, but you just claim to be a hojist. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, anybody who genuinely presents a threat is not going to get elected.
Oh no, Jesus!
If there was like a really big, like say, Communist Party in the United States or something, and it looked like they could win, the guy would find himself face down in a river like the next day.
Oh yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Like even in like states where they've literally had to break international law to get rid of like communists or socialist pinkos. Yeah. Like,
I mean, even if they were like even if they were just Eurocoms, oh yeah, we're going to vote in communism, they'd still end up dead. I mean, there really is no, we're just going to organize our way in and get into office and vote. I mean, it doesn't work.
I mean, MLK was like he called himself a democratic socialist, but when people, obviously, like, people in government didn't like him. However, like, when he started his Poor People's Campaign, which was a very, like, I'd say slightly radically social democratic organization, he got assassinated. He got assassinated a few years into it, and that's a sock demorg, basically.
I believe he was assassinated the morning he was supposed to join a sanitation worker strike, if I'm correct.
Mm. Oh, by the way, hi, Maoist third worldist movement. Glad you're here for this. But yeah, like, it doesn't take much for people to be considered a threat to like the nation in America, especially.
Yeah, in America, I mean, all you have to say is, "Can I have the right to see a doctor?" And boom, you're on like a fucking watch list.
Fucking Bernie Sanders being called a pinko communist, like they would have called him like a pinko commie in the Cold War, but now since they don't think there's any communists left, they just call him a communist.
Yeah, he does. He's no threat to the system.
Oh, Jesus, no. Jesus,
he's literally a member of the Democratic Party.
Yeah. He's a complete cook. Like, he's like an absolute whore. Like, healthcare people demanding healthcare is like one of the fucking like most milquetoast social democratic reforms that you can have.
Yeah, that's even a highly pushed position for bourgeois economists in general.
Oh yeah, didn't you mention the like the World Bank or the IMF talked about needing to raise taxes?
Yeah, even they were saying, okay, look, the coffers of governments going down, debts are going up. You're going to have to start taxing the capitalist class if you want to survive. But then that's going to cut in. That's going to accelerate the tendency of the rate of profit to fall, and that's going to lead to crisis.
You know, I actually do hold a position which is that Keynesianism is one of the most effective anti-communist tools that has been used in the 20th century.
All right, I believe that's literally why it was invented.
No, it was like Keynes was like fascism and Keynesianism are like the two things that would need to rise up in order to prevent communism. Like, and obviously it differs. There is a difference between third world social democrats and first world social democrats. Bernie Sanders isn't Chavez, like, you know. Let's be frank about that. I do hold the stance that there is a difference, and there is a noticeable difference between third world social democrats and social democrats in the first world.
Yeah, social democrats in the third world often risk being killed.
Yeah, because they're pinkos. You know, they're either considered sympathizers or close enough to a communist.
Because they're the social democrats would end up taxing the foreign companies.
Big foreign companies. The difference is that there is no extraction. There is no like extraction of like slavery exploitation happening in Venezuela to another country. They're getting exploited, yes, but like they're not exploiting anybody. It has to be built off of, you know, Venezuela's like economy and Venezuela, like the profits out of the Venezuelan like work. Yeah. But let's see next question. I was gonna. So yeah, you talked with the person with the LCO, but like, what's the first thing you like read or what like convinced you of it? Like, when did you get convinced of it? Besides it just being an idea that's cool.
I don't think it was necessarily like some like watershed moment or something. I think it was a slow process from reading the original blog before there was an LLCO, but it was the same people. It was called Monkey Smashes Heaven. And that was it. It was a slow process. It didn't happen overnight. I just, started leaning closer and closer and closer and closer to third worlders until it was like, I'm a third worldist. I mean, it's pretty obvious now.
Yeah. Like, in effect, I do like see the global class divide. Whether I think it's a fourth stage, I'll actually need to engage with the reading to determine that, and the actual things. Like I do like see the obvious global class divide in the fact that like most the working class proper is either like ridiculously poor and on welfare, or alternatively they're labor aristocrats who won't ever have a committed fight to socialism, at least on average. But next, what's the next fucking question? Oh yeah, can you tell me a bit about your political advocacy and actually, as much as you're willing to talk about your work with the LLCO and possibly some stuff with Prairie Fire, if you're comfortable with that, depending.
There was some severe problems with, and I don't want to say too much because there's a point of things being too sensitive. How do I put this? Prairie Fire went to jail for drug possession. And when he got out, he seemed mentally unbalanced. He claims that he was sexually abused by guards while he was in prison, and that is a thing that goes on. So I tend to believe him on that. And his behavior became more erratic and more erratic and more erratic, and it became clear that he had to be removed. I mean, whatever what was going on was going on, but the point is, like, his actions were damaging things, and he just had to go.
Yeah.
And then maybe a year later, he died of a heroin overdose.
But I was more talking about, when did you like get involved with that organization, and like what
maybe 2016, 2015. I was the one who formatted their books to be sold on the website. I didn't write the books. I'm the one who formatted it into the right format so that it could be printed.
Yeah. But like, was there any action that you like was like in the LCO? Was there any like general like political activism that you can remember, or you being involved in?
I wasn't particularly involved with it. A lot of that was very hush hush for security reasons, and I wasn't a member of the Central Committee, so I was not made privy to details about what was happening in the Bangla zone.
So, do you think that your experience in that taught you a lot about like organization and generally like political activism?
I would say probably, yeah. I mean, it's not the same thing as first world activism, but in terms of third world activism, yeah.
Yeah, I have had conversations with Nat and yourself. Well, mostly Nat about the issues with the first world activism, but you'd probably cover that in another video, which goes on the stuff. But let's see. So, what I remember when it's like I remember when, but how and what drew you to becoming like to making a platform for your political advocacy?
Well, I had always been dissatisfied with the news, and now everybody is. Yeah. I commented on a news video one time. I can't remember who it was. I think it was a mainstream news channel. And what I said, this is such bullshit. These guys are lying. And somebody replied to me, "What, you think you could do better?" Yeah. Now what?
You did better. You've got. I actually did from the obnoxious anarchist stream.
Go ahead, shoot your mouth off, see what happens.
But like, I remember you started it with 2 other people.
Yes, Nightcrow Red and Redneck D. Yeah. They were there too, contributing stuff, but eventually they got caught up in real world stuff, and they didn't have time. I
know you were obviously inspired by that, but how did you actually think? But like, when did you actually like start thinking, yeah, I'm actually gonna make a show? Like, I'm actually gonna make a show. Oh yeah, Ramon's t-shirt.
I just started a thing, and I thought, okay, you know what? I'll just say something about the news once a week and see what happens. And then, well, just snowballed from there.
No, yeah, and I've watched this 12th anniversary vid. I've also watched the 10th. You could visit in that if you want to go. Check out his channel, link below. If you've not already like subscribed, which I think like most of you are, if not all, who are currently watching. 17 viewers ain't bad actually. But how do you think the platform has changed, like YouTube?
Well, YouTube was better when it was owned by the original creators and not bought out by Google. I'll just say that. What do you know? The corporate world made a speech platform worse. Surprise, surprise. It used to be there was basically nothing you couldn't monetize unless it violated the terms of service, which would have just gotten taken down anyway.
Yeah, like porno go, like obviously.
Yeah, like my most watched video, Rebels entered Tripoli. Oh, did that surpass it?
The one with the cop who tells
Oh no. Well, before that, it was the one where I was talking about Libya, and it had like 3 million views, and then they decided that's not a thing you can monetize anymore because it's a sensitive subject.
yeah.
In 2011, because of the algorithm being that where you actually got sent to stuff that was actually worthwhile and not just let's plays and corporate owned shit, I once made $1,100 in 1 month.
Holy shit. 1,100? Fuck.
For a while, it was going up and up and up and up, and then it hit like 1158, and then YouTube did the monetization change, and then
Politics is. Oh, just gonna cover this in chat before we continue. Yes, I was gonna say this, but I am now actually kind of a part of MRN. Like,
yes,
I don't know. We've not worked out all the kinks. I just know I'm gonna get him to send me a T-shirt at some point and a microphone.
yeah. I mean, I'm one man.
Yeah.
One man can only do so much.
However, eventually it might be 2 or more.
Yeah.
I'm the English correspondent, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I'm only one man. Well, I mean, one video a day for 12 and a half years is already a hell of enough of a grind as it is.
Big commitment. Like, for real. Like, I honestly, I don't know how.
Just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. I think I've made over 4,000 videos.
Yeah.
Maybe closer to 5,000 videos.
Jesus. Like,
I don't know how many YouTubers can say that.
there's not many. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, ones who've been on the platform, like, that long.
The only ones I can think of are the Young Turks. But
they're an entire fucking organization.
Yeah, they're a whole team. They've got like 3 or 4 people doing the videos.
They're like basically like half of CNN now, like in terms of size.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not really a fair comparison. I'm only one guy.
Well, although to be honest, though, like at the beginning you had some help, but like that was gone very quickly. Like,
yeah, even then I wasn't doing a video every day yet.
No. I hope I can. I actually do hope that I can take a bit of the weight off of you back. Like with the whole like me being drafted.
I once, because I didn't have internet at the time, I had to, go hunting for it, like looking for unsecured wireless signals in order to be able to upload. I remember about 2:00 in the morning in minus 27 degree Celsius weather, uploading, sitting with my back against a fence in a public park, getting somebody's wireless signal in order to get a video uploaded.
Mm. Holy shit. Like, I'm trying to, was that the period where you, like, recorded against a brick wall, like, the rant videos where you'd have, like, the Cuban cigar and stuff?
Yeah, back then, yeah.
It was that when you couldn't, like, use your Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I didn't have internet back then.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough, man. Like, Jesus. Okay. So if you were to if there was like a young leftist like in front of you, what would like you say to do? Like, what would be like the pointers of what if you want to like get started? What to do?
Agitate. Learn. Read. A lot of people don't want to read.
Sure. I know a lot of people don't want to read.
Yeah, and some people make up like if you're busy, okay, I understand. But then some people are like, I just don't have any time to read ever. Like, do you think peasants in Russia did?
Like, you can at least read like some pamphlets or some shit. Like,
yeah. Like, you don't have to go read massive volumes of books.
Like, I've made a video, a while back, which was me giving book recommendations. Like, the book recommendations are not that long. Like, If you want a short read, Three Sources, Three Components of Marxism, Imperialism and the Split in Socialism. Like, there's easy stuff that explains the concepts. Obviously, if you're looking at a concept like dialectics, it's a bit more in depth, but like, you get me.
Yeah.
There are audiobooks. There is no excuse.
Yeah. I mean, Finball has like 1,000 something audiobooks on his channel.
The only issue is that some of them are like robo-voiced, which kind of is like. But literally, just search in audiobook for X Marxist book, and you'll find one thing.
Yeah, so somebody somewhere's done it.
Jason, are you still down to fight Bush?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I never challenged him to a fight.
What? But I remember though, it's in Discord. It was like you never.
Oh no, you were like it was just like an offhanded thing. It's not like I went out and challenged him or something.
However, you said that if he did challenge you to a fight, you'd kick his fucking ass.
I'm pretty sure, a Beverly Hills bitch, rich kid could not take me.
Okay, this is a complicated question.
I would say no.
Yeah.
Being a Maoist does not automatically make you a third worldist.
It doesn't, but it would imply leanings that would make you lean towards third worldism. Like
long live the struggle of global people's war, but being a Maoist doesn't necessarily make you a third worldist.
Also, just generally the observations of like revolution, especially.
I mean the Black Panthers weren't third worldist.
Yeah, but like, and
they were Maoist. They're probably the best Maoists.
But like also just the observation of like the Maoists in India, Philippines, Peru, like these are the places where Maoist dogs have actually been a big threat. Like, but let's see. Next question. Oh, actually, since you're a third worldist, I actually know that you take certain like observations of struggles. So where do you think that you look towards currently in places that you should watch for like revolutionary potential?
Oh man, the truth is it's not looking really good anywhere right now. A lot of them are very seriously on the decline. From what I've seen, a lot of Naxals have been killed by COVID. Because they're in the poorest areas, right?
Yeah. They have had some decent wins though recently. Like
they have had some decent wins, but in terms of the overall movement, COVID is really, really slaughtering them. There was some recent stuff. Things seem to be kicking off again in Colombia. Apparently, those who didn't want a peace agreement have insisted on continuing to fight. I put something on Twitter yesterday about it. Somebody who had information about that regarding it.
How much info do you have about how the struggle in the Philippines is going?
To be perfectly honest, it's really not looking very good at all. Things are very slowing down, and it looks like they're just barely hanging on at this point. Like there used to be tens of thousands of guerrillas, and it looks like a lot of them is maybe there may be only a few thousand actual guerrillas left. That they've really been destroyed in the last little while, even, which I think is why Sison was so desperate to try to come to a peace agreement with Duterte, and famously referred to Duterte as the Filipino Hugo Chavez, because you remember when Hugo Chavez went around killing drug addicts, right?
To be fair, I don't know if that was around the time he was elected.
It was before he was elected.
Yeah, and he did actually play around in leftist circles and market himself as that.
I don't know, a guy who says, kill drug addicts. I think that's kind of a right-wing position there.
You'd be surprised how common that is in many countries. Hell, Mugabe claimed to be a communist, but then fucking said gay people couldn't get married and sold himself out to neoliberalism. So
yeah,
fucked shit exists.
Duterte was just being a politician.
A very horrific politician, but yeah. Hmm.
I'll give him credit for being honest. I mean, Duterte, at least, with all the inhuman nonsense that he carried out, at least he was honest about it.
Okay, next question. Favorite leftist writers in terms of in terms of either enjoyment or like recommendation, whatever you want.
Zach Cope's Divided World, Divided Class. That one's pretty good. Nothing particularly sticks out. I think they're all generally pretty good.
Like, there's obviously the classics, Marx, Lenin, Stalin, Mao,
Yeah.
like, obviously. There's stuff that's self-evident. Like, there's stuff like that. There's like, obviously the classics. Did you actually get to reading that reading list I ended up sending you?
Not yet. I've been pretty busy.
I'll send it again after this. I'm not asking you to like read everything on there, but just it will be an interesting peruse for you or not. Let's see. Problems with the left and things you think can help that.
Liberalism. The solution is gulags.
Good.
I suppose you probably want something more pragmatic than simply lock people up and beat them.
Which is
Stalin, Batina.
More beatings.
I mean, liberalism is it's largely a first world disease, and a lot of this really does come from the fact that the average person who calls himself a Marxist on the internet doesn't want to fight a revolution. They say it, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So it becomes attractive to argue for a reform rather than go out and do a revolution. It was like the conversation I had with our socialism on that. I said, yeah, you could do revolution in the first world. And they said, then go out and do it. Other people aren't ready to do it. And I said, they haven't been ready for 100 years. But you just said you could. So do it.
Like maybe the 1930s you could stretch. Like
maybe.
But like
that's going back pretty far to have to find something.
Yeah, like the 1960s was pretty like high like I'm trying to think high tension, but like there wasn't enough people to do a revolution. Still, like
no, it was a civil rights movement. It wasn't a revolution. That's kind of the point. They don't want to do it, and sometimes they'll come for all kind of rationalizations. Like, okay, we can do revolution in the first world. Okay, go out and do it. Oh, we can't do it right now because people aren't willing to do it. Well, that's kind of my point. That's what I just said.
That ain't the conditions. Like you can say, oh, we haven't propagated enough, we haven't propagandized enough, but like the truth is that there's so much of a media machine against like fucking posters on the wall that say revolution now, fucking like I do activism, but like I don't think that there's going to be a revolution until I'm maybe 60. If I live that long, depends on the climate crisis.
Yeah, if any of us make it that long.
I think I could. I think I could survive to 60 if I was in the like 40% of people who live after a massive like catastrophe. I'd essentially be living in a post-apocalypse, but
a lot of that is speculation. I mean, we're not really going to know until it happens.
I mean, I have some inclinations because, like, I've covered climate science, but, like, I'm not, like, a climate scientist. I'm just a scientist who studied the climate. But, yeah, like, especially, there is a lot of devotion to nonviolence. That is, like,
that is a big thing. I mean, look there. I mean, the Proud Boys have probably done more than leftists have in 100 years by storming the Capitol. I mean, it was dumb. It was really dumb.
The Capitol. It's a revolution.
They stormed the Capitol and then stopped. Well, what do we do now? Well, that's because you didn't think things through.
I got maced. We're storming the Capitol. It's irrelevant. Like, people wearing Blue Lives Matter shirts and then storming the Capitol is one of them. I mean, I know, like, you know, a lot of them got let in. Like, I know a lot of them got let in. But, like, it's pretty ironic that you think you'll be able to, like, have a revolution without having to confront cops. Like, fuck me.
It never. Blue Lives Matter, and then turn around and attack the police.
Yeah.
How does that work? It's like I one time criticized a white supremacist for like a nonsense position, and then some anarchist screen capped and said, "Oh, look, Jesus pro-Nazi or pro-cop." No. The guy said, "I said, you support police, yes, but you also believe that a certain ethnic group that's not really an ethnic group, etc., actually secretly controls the government, yes, and the police are the enforcers of that government, yes. So you're literally supporting the people that are enforcing the system that you're against."
And his response was?
He called me that ethnic group.
I'm guessing it was the J word.
It was the J word.
Yes. That would be a benefit. Just like people seem so reasonable until you see them like shit posting on Twitter. Like, Twitter seems to just compel people to like say random mad shit and like shit on people for no reason, or like make a mountain out of a molehill.
Like, yeah, for example, if you don't like third worldism, you don't like the theory that I uphold. Okay. I don't expect first world people to like it. That's kind of the point.
Oh,
but what is the point of attacking me personally? If my theory is so bad, then attack that.
Oh, I did just want to touch on something. A lot of people make the argument, well, there's no third worldists in the third world. Nobody identifies as a Maoist third worldist in the third world.
Yes, there is.
So what would your like cover be to that like response?
There is. I mean, basically, there is an LLCO section in Ghana. I mean, it's hard to be a third worldist when you're in the third world, because then it's just Marxism.
Yeah, because you're a Maoist, because you don't have to worry about the shit that the third worldists talk about.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
You've got nothing to lose but your chains now. So
yeah,
why do you identify as a third worldist?
Yeah, that's so. I mean, there's that. I mean, you don't really. Yeah, third worldism in the third world is just Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. Yeah. So it's
like, why would they clarify themselves as third worldists when they're in the third world? Like, it's not exactly like, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's. Sorry, go on.
There's just a lot of. I think I'm gonna look through some questions because we've run out of my questions, and then I think I'll run it for like a few more minutes, but then
yeah, cool.
We'll head off. But
Chen Wei Hua be coming on soon. Oh, that would be interesting.
Who's Chen Wei Hua?
Oh, he's the guy who does socialism with cyberbullying characteristics.
Oh yeah, I remember the question that Falcone asked earlier, which is briefly, if you can, what is your like position on the Sino-Soviet split?
It's kind of ironic. The Soviets were going revisionist, and then the Chinese called them out on it, and then the Chinese went revisionist themselves, while still yelling revisionist at the Soviet Union.
What the
fuck?
When do you think China went revisionist?
Oh, it was a process.
Yeah.
But I would say probably not long after the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution, because things ran out of steam at that time.
And then there was Mao rehabilitating Deng Xiaoping and Zhao.
Yeah, so it was a process, but actually, the fact that China went revisionist, I actually would blame Mao largely for that.
Yeah. I do. Yeah, I remembered a question that I haven't asked in a while because it hasn't been relevant. So, do you have a favorite revisionist?
Hmm.
Like, who's your most liked revisionist?
Honestly, I don't know how to answer the question.
My
I
usual my usual stance is like Tito, maybe because he was a good, decent answer.
Oh, that. I thought you meant like person on social media.
No, no, no. I meant like fucking
Oh, then my
historical figure.
favorite revisionist I would consider Enver Hoxha,
Um,
because as confused as he was, at least he was really trying.
and he was right about stuff. Like,
Yeah, he was right about he was right about Tito. He was right about the Soviets when they started going reactionary. Yeah, he was right.
yeah. My favorite quote is when he said, "The great proletarian cultural revolution is neither great nor proletarian nor cultural nor a revolution." Like,
Okay.
that's like a shit post on Reddit. Like, and yet he put that in actual theory and actual text.
It is. That sounds like a tweet. It sounds like a tweet.
It does. It does. Fucking Enver Hoxha is a Twitter user. You heard it here. But let's see. So I think we can wrap this up because I like to keep streams streamlined because like nobody would watch it back if it's over like 2 hours. Like very
Wait,
very few.
Hoxha plagiarized Voltaire? I've never heard that.
What the fuck? Interesting. But it's been lovely finally getting this thing to work.
Yeah,
again, but,
my
like,
fault.
yeah,
My fault. Completely my fault.
Thoughts on Chairman Gonzalo is probably a video all to itself. But I've from talking to you in the video, positive but issues.
Yeah. I think overall he proved the universality of People's War, but he leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah. I could watch this for another hour and not going to lie. You know the quote, the Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire.
Oh, okay.
That makes
was he ripping him off, or was doing it like a parody or a callback, or
was it like a sample in hip hop? Like,
yeah, it was a sample. He was sampling Voltaire.
You know, like if Mao had been like alive to actually respond to Hoxha like shitting on him publicly, like it would have been hilarious because Mao would probably like for real crush him. Like,
yeah.
This is the thing. I don't even hate Hoxha for his like critiques of Mao. It's the fact that he waited till he was dead to do them.
This is like the original "say it to my face," not online. See what happens.
Yeah. But Kanye versus Kamala 2024. Who should we support?
Oh God. Nuclear apocalypse.
I'm voting Cyber Trump.
Cyber Trump.
Like, if we even get to 2024.
Mass suicide 2024. 2020. Yeah, 2024.
Like, at least Kanye, Jesus, he went insane for a while. Prasad gang, nuclear annihilation.
Yeah.
Prasad was actually one of the better Trotskyists in history, and that is hilarious. Did I ever tell you why the Trotskyists got kicked out of Cuba?
Because they're Trotskyists?
Nope.
Oh. Okay.
The reason why they got kicked out of Cuba was they planned to storm Guantanamo Bay and they planned to nuke America with the Soviet missiles. So when that happened, Castro didn't want to literally like kill millions of people and also, you know, like bring about a nuclear apocalypse. So he kicked out Prasad and his gang.
Is that where that comes from?
Partly. Actually,
Okay, because that is kind of crazy.
He wanted to nuke America with Soviet missiles. Prasad and his gang, which is why they were kicked out of Cuba, because Prasad did actually help in the Cuban Revolution.
Well, I mean, I can understand. I mean, I've been pretty frustrated with the U.S. myself a couple times.
Yeah. However, it's mainly the fact that it's mutual. I don't know when the term mutually assured destruction came up, but like I would have been able to see it.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to win that one.
Yeah. Like, you want to know what's terrifying? I heard a news story a while back which was saying that America wanted to build tiny atomic bombs rather than hydrogen bombs so they could tactically use them. So that they could tactically use nuclear weapons without like having to have hundreds of years of radiation. Just like 50 years instead.
I guess it makes sense.
It makes sense from like a purely logistic sense, but as soon as you bring ethics into the equation, making weaker nuclear bombs so that they would be more likely to be used is fucking horrific.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else?
No, I guess that's it.
You want to put your own outro and then
Yeah. I mean, basically everybody in the audience already knows who I am anyway. So, continue to watch, rate, comment, subscribe, share on various social media, and
Press
do this.
the
Do best press the bell for notifications, because subscribing isn't specific enough that you'll want to see the videos. And do the same thing for the Inglesist as well.
Maoist Rebel, the Anglesist, MRN. Signing out.